Hey everybody, Pat here from West Corners Custom Cycles. Welcome back to the Underground Garage. Back on this 1976 SS250. Last time I left you, if you caught the first video, you know where we're at. You know that I found on the back of the manual some writing that explained to me how to hot wire this ignition. So I'm gonna hot wire it the way it says. Make sure lights and everything come on, and then I got spark. And once we get that, then I'm gonna see what I can do about an ignition for this thing. The original ignition that I have to it is missing the key. I've shopped all over, can't find one. I can call a locksmith, and I'm going to try and do that and see if I can't get a key made for the original ignition, but that's if the guy happens to have blank, and we'll go from there. But anyway, I'm going to get you in here, show you this. Hopefully all the lights and everything work, and we got spark after that, and as long as that happens, I'm going to wire a aftermarket universal ignition into it for now. So let me get around here, show you what's going on. I already got the wiring hooked up here. Like I said, if you were with us last time, you saw on the back of this manual, I found some writing from a friend of mine who previously owned it, telling me how to do this. So what I'm going to do, battery's already hooked up. I'm going to put a hot wire here into this red wire, a jumper wire. And I'm going to put another one on this other red wire. Now, the instructions in this thing told me hook orange to orange, so I did that with a white wire here. Then it tells me to hook the black and white wire to the red positive. So, and that gives us lights. Now, it says to hook all three of these together. They're getting power, the yellow one here and the green, this goes up to green and black. Hook to this other positive. Come around this side. And guess what, folks? We have spark. Yep, we got spark. All right, we got spark, we got lights. So obviously this hot wiring method here that was written down on the back of this manual works. I don't have a tail light on because I didn't plug it in, that and the rear tail lights, and obviously the front blinkers are missing. I've got I'm going to steal the ones off the 75 to put on here because they're original, and the ones on the back there are original. And I've already put aftermarket ones on the 75 on the rear, so I'll put the other aftermarket ones on the front of that. Now, this is what I intended to do and what I will do. Let me disconnect these hot wires here. I don't want anything sparking out on me. All right. Now this, let me get over here where I can show you. This right here is the original ignition setup for this 1976. Now I went over to our local Central tractor place here, picked up this ignition. Got a key. Now this is a 3 turns on, and then it's got a start position that pops back, spring loaded. We're not going to put anything on the start circuit on it. I'm just going to use the on and off right here on this key. I'm going to plug everything into the back here. Gold one is ground. This is battery, 12 volt. Then when I turn it on, it powers up this terminal right here next to the gold one. Right here next to the gold one. And we'll use that for turning the lights on and off. And disabling it when I'm not on it. Once the key's shut off, it won't get sparked until the key's turned back on too. So that's where we're at with that. So let me get this all wired up in there and get this headlight put back where it goes. And we'll get the tank and the seat back on it. Then we're going to get some gas in it and fire this thing up. All right, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, everybody. I'm back. I just took the time to take that universal ignition switch and wire it in. I got rid of all the jumper wires. I made a 3-prong tail that just hooked up to hot on this. There's a negative and a 12-volt hot that I hooked up to it. And when you turn it on to the light position, it throws 12 volts to everything we need. As you can see, headlight works, tail light works now, brake light works. So we're all good there. We've got spark. So now all I got to do is get this back together, get some gas in it so you and I can fire this up. I'm going to get the tank back on it, the seat back on it. I had some mail come. I got a throttle assembly. I actually did get an aftermarket one. Instead of tearing one off one of the other Harleys, I'll just be looking for it when I go to put one on there, or go to redo one of them. I actually got a pretty good deal on this. Came with a kill switch, came with a set of grips, the throttle, and an aluminum throttle body assembly, and it came with the throttle cable. I already took the liberty of putting the throttle cable on there. I had to pull the slide out and disconnect the old one. It had one on here that came about halfway down the bike, split into two. One went to the oil pump, one went to the carburetor. We're not going to be using the oil pump. We're going to be mixing the gas ahead of time. So I just ran with the one cable and it should work just fine. So I'm going to get the throttle on, the seat on, the tank on, and I got another delivery of air cleaner parts. I was looking for, there's a baffle that goes on the inside of this air cleaner, little plastic one. Original Harley and an OS, new old stock. Thank you for the people down at Bill's Customs. And Diane, thank you very much. So I got not only the baffle, but I have the original bolts that go through it and the original nut. I ordered up a set of 2 because I got another 250 out there. That's what this is. So we're going to get this baffle in there. We're going to get the air cleaner element in there. We're going to get these side covers on there. And then we're going to take this out and fire it up. All right, let's get at it. All right, first thing we're going to tackle here is this throttle assembly. Most of you people know how this works. And if not, well, I'll show you right here. A couple of screws that hold it together. Take them both out. 2 halves come apart. Now, like I said, I already took the liberty of hooking the throttle cable up to the carburetor. We're going to okay, let's see how this goes together. Hang on a second. Alright, I don't know if I like the way that works. It's got this funky little piece in here. If I knew it was like this, I'd probably ordered a straight one. Anyway, got this funky little piece in here that's got to go in, and it's got a groove in it that this cable travels on. So we got to slide it in there. And then this part has another groove. So it's coming around this one and then up over this. It's coming around this one and then up over this. We'll see how this works. If I knew it was like that, I'd probably ordered a different throttle. We'll see how it works. Put it on here and get it all together and screw it down. And see what's what. Get these screwed down tight, and hopefully it'll not bind up, because it felt like it was going to. Okay, that one started. Okay, get this positioned where I want it, where it's not going to interfere with anything. It's nice that, I mean, it's an aluminum housing, it's not plastic, so that's nice. It's sturdy that way. Get this rubber boot up on here where it's supposed to go. Now the boot don't want, there it goes. You want to go back on. Yeah, I guess it works okay. Well, that's that, people. That part's done. All right, I'm back. I just took a second here to zip tie up a few wires. And one more. Then we're going to get this tank on here. Just don't want nothing hanging down on the motor, wires or cables or any other thing. There. That ought to help things. There we go. That's on. I gotta look in the parts manual. I think there's something here to hold the back of this tank down. Right now, it's good for now. We can get gas in it. I went and bought gas line, but I got the wrong size, so I gotta go get a piece of 5/16 gas line. I bought 1/4 inch. And I got to take the gas can down to the gas station a couple blocks down the street here and mix myself up some gas to put in here. And as far as I know, we've got throttle, we've got gas tank, we've got a clean petcock, we've got a clean carburetor, we have spark, we have no air obstructions. And speaking of the air, I'm going to have to go get the parts manual to see what order. There's all these different parts. They made this really complicated, Harley did. There's a baffle. There's a rubber gasket right here that goes around this element. I'll show you. Comes apart. Then there's a metal brace there. There's a bolt that goes through it, and the side cover is the actual cover for the air cleaner. So I'm going to go get the parts manual so we can get that all in there straight. And when I come back, I'll have the new hose and the gas too. Be back in a second. All right, everybody, I'm back with the right size hose. I already hooked it up right here to the carburetor. Got an inline fuel filter I'm also going to put in it. The flow in these things always goes through the tapered end to the flat end. So flat end's going to go. Now what did I just do? Oh. Gotta figure out where I set the hose clamps. I already put one on the carburetor end of it. Screw this down. Put another piece going from this to the petcock. I already took the liberty of mixing up some gas, so we'll get that dumped in there. And I noticed that I was actually missing a piece or two on that air cleaner that I told you we were going to get put on there and straightened around. So I called and I got the pieces coming for that. They should be here in a day or two. So we're going to wait on putting that on, but we don't need that on to start it. I'm hoping we're going to start it here in a minute as soon as I get this gas line on. All right, I'm not going to make you watch me screw clamps down and stuff. I'll be back in a second. Okay, everybody, I'm back. As you can see, I got the line on, fuel filter in it. Everything's good. We're going to turn it to the on position. I already took the liberty of putting gas in the tank. I got a full gallon in there, already mixed with oil because I'm not going to be using the oil pump. They tend to go sometimes, and when they do and you don't know it, that's how you blow your motor. I do not have the air cleaner in it yet because I'm waiting on a couple pieces. So let's see if we can fire this thing. Give it a few kicks, a few prime kicks maybe. Looks like we got gas down in the filter. Might take a minute for that float bowl to fill up. Put on the choke. Okay, I kicked it a bunch more times and it was giving me a hard time. So I went and got the old magic spray, gave it a little shot down the neck, and she popped off a little bit. So I just topped off the oil in it and try and kick it a few more times. If it don't go, I'll spray it again and we will get her started. I think it's just a matter of getting the gas down through the carb to the cylinder. Okay. Ah, she popped off. Try it again. She starts, people. Wow. Guess we got to turn that idle down a little. And that was shocking pulling that off. Woohoo! All right. I think I got the idle turned down a little bit. Try this again. See where we're at. I need the screwdriver so I can adjust it. I fired it up again, but I forgot to turn the camera back on. And it was still screaming high. I turned it off with the kill switch. That seems to work, so. Let's see. Mother. There it goes now. Woohoo! Just screaming. I think I know what's the matter. I'm almost sure of it. Okay. Well, we know it starts. I think what's the matter with it is I think that throttle cable's just a touch too short and it's keeping that slide in that carburetor pulled up a little bit, so it's keeping it on a high throttle instead of letting it sit down on an idle. I'm going to disconnect it up at the handlebar, let it relax all the way down in there and see if that makes it different. Let me get that unhooked. Okay, everybody, when I left you a second ago, this thing was starting, but it was screaming at 8,000 RPMs, and I couldn't get it to come down no matter what I did with the idle screw. It wouldn't respond. So I got thinking about it, and I got the adjustment all the way turned in on this Amazon throttle that I got. And also down on the carburetor, there's an adjustment to take the slack out of the cable. Both of those were adjusted all the way in. And I was wondering when I put it on, if it wasn't holding the slide up inside the carburetor, if it wasn't holding it up a little bit. Turns out that's what's matter. I took the throttle apart like I said I was going to, disconnected the cable so that that slide's definitely sitting all the way down the way it should be. and now it starts, and I've got it to where it's idling pretty decent. I'm gonna have to take it out, ride it around, warm it up, and readjust the carburetor to get it where I want it, and so it's starting real good. But let me get her started up here, and I'll show you how it's running. And there's still half a dozen things I got to do to it before I can take it and run it up and down the road. I'll explain that in a minute. But I want to show you how this runs. Turn the gas on. Actually, about 8:30 in the morning, the following morning, you can see my breath, about 50 degrees here in the great state of New York. There you go. She's up and running. Runs decent too. I'm going to have to short this throttle cable housing about 1 inch to make everything work where I can adjust it. It won't be screaming 8,000 RPMs. But there you go. I just wanted to show you it's up and running. It's idling on its own. Throttle's over here, like I said. But here's rattling around like crazy. I'm going to take that off of there. This one seems to work okay. I'm going to have to find a replacement for that instead of yelling over this thing. All right, so there we are. It's up, it's running. Thank you. I love the feeling of getting an old bike, getting it up and going again. I want to thank all you guys for taking this journey with me, hanging out while I get the whole thing gone through, done, started, and figured out. Still got several other things I got to do to it. I got to get the turn signal lenses on the front here. I got to get this headlight tightened up. Like I said, I got to shorten this throttle casing about 1 inch to make that work. That's not a big deal. Side cover here I got to get on. Air cleaner in this side and the side cover on. And I just want to take, a wrench and go around this whole thing and make sure everything's tightened up the way it should be. So nothing's loose and moving around. You can see some of the turn signals are moving around and stuff. So I just want to go through and make sure everything's ship shape, up to par and ready to go. All right. Well, I'm going to get this part of the video up, and then you'll have to come back next week, and I'm going to have all of what I just said done, ready to go outside. We're going to fire this thing up. I'm going to rip it up and down the road, and you're going to see the complete final product. All right. Thanks again for hanging out and helping me get this thing going. I'll see you later. And yes, the key does work too. I wired it up so I didn't have the headlight on for when I started it, but that's all good. Okay, see ya. As always, live life behind bars, ride safe, be good to each other, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.